Welcome to this video in which I'm going to show you how I can take a 2D image like this little pixel art star here, which we've used to make some jewelry, and transform it into this rather cool looking 3D isometric view. So without further ado, what we're going to do is start by loading TextSoft Design, and at the moment I'm in version 2, but the really exciting news here is that we have version 3 of TextSoft Design. So I'm going to close this one down and I'm going to go to the Start menu, and in the past I've always typed in 2D to then get my 2D design version 2 available, but version 3 I'm going to type in V3 to get TextSoft Design version 3. So that's going to be my new shortcut for the Start menu, not 2D but V3, and that's going to give me version 3 of the software. So just a little bit of a rundown here of some of the features of this, or the key features are, and that's interesting. I can't select that tool without that thing appearing. That's a bit weird. So I don't like that feature, but the main feature is that, look, we have got multiple undo and redo. Now I don't know how many times you can undo and redo, but it's super exciting. So finally we've got that feature. Anyway, let's get going. I'm going to bring in my CAD file here, and I've got all of these Pewtercast designs to play with. I'm going to try and make these all into 3D isometric views, and we'll see how things go. These are all student samples. So I'll start with the letters here, which should be fairly straightforward. I'm going to zoom in first of all up at the top here. That looks good to me. And I'm going to take this B to begin with. I think I'm going to bring this down. Now at the moment, interestingly, I've got radial lock turned on and I've got radial lock active only when drawing lines and marquee box rotations. So I'm going to turn that one off for the time being. I don't want that yet. We'll see what happens. I'm going to bring this down. Oh, look at this. Oh, how cool. Wheel mouse zooms. I didn't know that. How cool is that? Now, so I can zoom out and then zoom in down here. Oh my goodness, that's wicked. Let's put the B down here. Okay, let's go to the 3D effects. Now, if I hold the mouse button down here, I've got different 3D effects, but I just want to have my isometric view. Well, our castings were 3mm in thickness, and I'm going to retain the original so I can have the original letter and the 3D representation next to it. Let's click on OK. I'm going to select that bottom left hand corner, and now I'm just going to bring the B to the side there, and perhaps let's just position those like that. So now I can see my B. In fact, you know what? Let's do it underneath. I'll do it like that. So there's my original B, and there's where my 3D representation. Yeah, you can see it's like a wireframe view, and there's lots of hidden lines appearing here, so you'll need to work out what's the desired line and what's not, but effectively that's got our isometric view finished. So that's what I'm aiming for all of these models. I've got to get into this wheel mouse zoom. That's really quite funky. Let's grab all of these and let's just bring them down all together. And let's drop them all there. Right, so in fact I'm thinking here what I want to do is drop these below, because it appears as if when I do the extrusion, sorry, not the extrusion, the isometric effect, it leaves the J selected underneath, or the C or the D. So we'll see what happens. Okay, let's select this one here. Let's go to, in fact, with this one here, what I might do is a little bit of cleaning up on this first, because I got a lot of unnecessary detail here. Let's go to the delete part tool and let's just trim back, whoops. Let's just trim back a lot of the unnecessary detail, so it's going to look like that. That's what I want. And let's do the same over here. Let's trim that back there, trim that back there. Okay, that's looking good. I'm going to go with those models. Okay, so let's select this one now. Let's go 3D effect. It's going to give the same settings here. Retain the original. I'm going to click on this bottom left hand corner, and then I'm going to bring this J up. So that was really cool and pretty straightforward, and it's obviously clearer here around where this hole is, so maybe I should have cleaned that up as well. Okay, let's do the C. You get the idea. I'm just going to rattle through this now. And then finally, let's do the D. So select the D. Isometric. Same settings. Okay. Now, I do find it interesting here that all of these characters I think look pretty much as I expected, except for the C, and I'm not quite sure why, but this is really creating quite an unusual profile in the way that this lower arm kind of sweeps round. It kind of thins out here, then seems to get thicker here. It's really quite interesting. So that actually, in my mind, is turning into quite a difficult object to draw in 3D if I hadn't had TechSoft to help me. Anyway, here we go. I'm messing it up with the zoom feature. Let's select all of these and let's have a look at how these are going to look if I do exactly the same process. I'm going to pop them all over here and let's start to zoom in on the star. Now things are going to be a little bit more complicated here because I need to have an external profile to work with this, and you'll see why in a second. In fact, let's do it wrong. Let's take this design here. Let's go to this 3D effect. Let's click on OK. Click on this bottom left hand corner. Take the star out of position up there, and this is what I get. That is getting mighty confusing because I've got all of these engraved edges here kind of showing at the front and the back, and that's really hard to work out, and I need to avoid this happening. So let's see if my multiple undo works here. Undo. Oh, look at that. That is so cool. I mean, actually it's pretty basic, but for TechSoft design, it's cool. Okay, so what I need to do here is have an outline of this, and you'll see what I mean in a second. If I get the contour tool, I'm going to put a 0 contour spacing, graphical, and I'm going to click on the outside edge, and what that's just given me is that. Super important. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is take this. No, I'll take this first. Let's take this 3D effect. Okay, I'm not going to retain the original. 3mm, and I'm going to click down here. Just notice I'm clicking just below this bottom left corner of the star. Now that's given me just a really nice, simple star profile. Now I'm going to select this. I'm going to come to the 3D effect. Now I do want to retain the original, so I keep my original 2D graphic here, and I'm going to set the finish depth to 0mm. And I'm going to click at the same position beneath the bottom left toe there of our star, and I get that effect. And what I can now do is bring this in over the top, and look at that. That is looking super cool. Okay, let's keep on going. I'm having fun here. Let's look at the heart. So with the heart, first thing I want to do is rotate this. And when I'm rotating, yep, that's right, I want to rotate with precision. So I'm going to come to my radial lock tool, and with this I'm going to make sure it's only active on line drawing. Okay, so if yours isn't selected on that point, I think version 3 seems to have that done by default. If I rotate this now, you can see it snaps through 45 to 90. Super cool. Have I got a profile to this? No, I haven't. So let's just get the contour. Okay, let's click on the contour there. Let's take that contour down, and this time I think I've got to do this one first. So let's do that as an extrusion because I've already got 0 finished depth and retain original, and I'm going to make sure I do it on this bottom corner here. I've got to make sure I keep it the same location for that extrusion effect, or that isometric effect both times. So let's now select this 3D effect. I don't want to retain the original, but I do want to have a 3mm finish depth, same reference point, and then hopefully now I can bring that in, and awesome. Okay, let's do the next one. Now, is this Papyrus? I think that's his name, isn't it? Let's do this guy here. Have we got an outline? No, we haven't. Let's start with an outline. Pick up the outline, take it, pick up the outline, take it down. Okay, so I think I've got my 3D effect here first. Yes, I have. So I'm going to use this as my reference point. That's looking cool. Now I'm going to take this 3D effect. This is 0 finish depth. Retain the original. Same reference point. Bring the original 2D graphic above. And then can I snap this over the top? Oh yeah, I can. That looks awesome. Okay, this gets more and more fun. Now this one here is an interesting one because actually all these lines were, when they were engraved, they actually came out as thick like this. So let's have a look. How am I going beg your pardon. How am I going to do this? Okay, I need to do an outline again. So far so good. And I think I'm going to make that into a 3D effect first because I just love how that looks. I'll have that's my reference point just there. That looks really wicked. And then with this design here, let me have a look. I'm going to zoom in on this, and I'm thinking of taking, let's let's take all those lines. Let's add in a 0.5 millimeter thickness here. How is that going to look? I'm not completely convinced by that. Maybe... Okay, if I select this and ungroup it, oh, it even says it's ungroup, that's nice. Okay, so, yeah, oh my goodness, the person that made this has got individual lines on everything. That's driving me completely bonkers. If you can, folks, do please use the open polyline so you can just draw, you know, a series of connected lines. That is so much easier than having all these separate little individual lines. So this is actually going to be a nightmare. So you know what? Forget that. Let's regroup it. Let's go to line. Let's put 0.25. How does that look? Let's see if that works. Okay, let's go to the last zoom view here. Let's go to retain original, depth 0 millimeters. I'm going to have the same reference point. Okay, bring this up. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. That looks pretty cool, I have to say. And then let's have a look at my cat. Is it a cat or a dog? I'm sure you'll know this is some sort of meme or something. I'm clueless. Let's do a contour. Okay. Take that down. Okay, what was I doing first? I was going to do this. Dum, dum, dum. There's my reference point. Pop that up there. Okay, let's take this. Where are we? 3D effect. 3mm depth. Don't keep the original, same reference point, and we're going to drop that up to there. And there's some really interesting things happening. In fact, I don't even have to use that tool. I can just use the wheel mouse. Whoa! Interesting things happening here in terms of how the wireframe comes through. So it'd be interesting to see how you can kind of work out what is an actual visible line and what's a hidden line. This is an interesting one. Let's see how this one's going to work out. So let's do the contour. Okay, contour goes down there. Okay, what am I going to do first? Let's do that contour because I've got it all prepped up and good to go. That's my reference point. And then this 3D effect. Yep. Okay, bring the original out of the way. Bring up this isometric 3D view in position. Yeah, I like that a lot. That looks really cool. And we've got the little piggy over here now. How is he going to work out? I think this one has a problem. First of all, I've got to rotate it. So I've got radio locked on here, which is going to allow me to just rotate that through 90 degrees. And here, I think, lies the problem. If I go to contour tool and I click on this, what happens is that contour, he says, where's the contour? Yeah, the contour just does that. And the reason for that is because this CAD file, it's awesome, don't get me wrong, but it's a bit sloppily put together. If I select this and come to line and go fine, I can see that I've got lots and lots of gaps in this design. And how are we going to fix this? The way I'm going to fix this is I'm going to get rid of all these issues here. Okay, don't want that either. So effectively I'm just kind of cleaning up the design. Okay, I'm also going to pixel peep and get rid of some little anomalies. Okay, now let's see now if I can do a contour on this. Yeah, you see that's got me the contour, that's nice. But I haven't got the cutout on top here, so actually that's no good. So what's happening with this? Now let's see, did the person who made this work to the grid? I've got a 1mm grid setting. Let's get a circle tool. Did they work to the grid? And it looks like they didn't. Okay, but maybe I can snap into that corner. So let's turn off step lock. Let's turn on the attach tool. Let's snap into here. And then let's just turn off the attach tool, back to step lock. Can I bring this out? Okay, that's going to be for me a good close approximation. Let's trim that back. Let's pixel peep there. Look, trim that back as well. Trim that, trim that, trim that. I'm liking the look of this. Let's go with that. So let me see. Contour tool now. Okay, let's go back to grid lock. Pick up that contour. Let's pop it down here. Okay, good. Let's take all of this. I'm going to put the line color to red, and I'm going to put the line thickness back to that 0.25, which seemed to work so well for the tank. Okay, nice. So where was I first? Let's do, oh, it's not all grouped together. So let's just take this, Control G, let's group it. And 3D effect. Okay, so 0 depth, retain original. That bottom corner is going to be my reference point. And how interesting, because actually what we have here is like a 3D view of a pig. What we get is like this really weird, distorted 3D view, which looks quite fun, really. It's like the pig's been put through a mangle or something and kind of squash flat. Let's have a look at this one down here. 3D effect, 3mm depth, don't retain the original, same reference point, and then how's this could look when I bring it together? Okay, well that, quite frankly, looks a wee bit strange, but it is actually a true isometric representation nevertheless. So with all the rest of them it looks really cool, but because the pig's already in 3D it kind of distorts the student's attempt at a 3D Minecraft pig into like a double isometric effect. I don't know. Anyway, that is looking pretty cool, and that's how we can convert our awesome laser engraved pewter into these 3D drawings in TechSoft 2D version 3.